Awesome. Welcome back to my channel, guys. My name is Josiah Blizzard. I'm here to walk you guys through a recent engagement session. Tossed a GoPro on top of the camera, and I'm just going to kind of tell you what I'm doing. You can listen to some of the audio from the actual video. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing through some voiceover. You guys can see kind of how I shoot, what my brain is doing during the session. So without further ado, here we go.
Awesome. Hands in pockets, thumbs out. Feet pointing right towards me here. There we go. Awesome. Hands in pockets. Christina, I'm just going to get really close to you just to show you what we're going to do. Your right hand's going to come on his waist there. Your left hand's going to come up on his bicep. Perfect. Yeah, you can just flex all you want now if you want to.
You're cutting me.
And I want you to come, Christina, just a little closer to me. There we go. And then slide real close to him. There we go. Perfect. Awesome. All right.
This is John and Christine. John and Christine are really awesome. They're getting married next year. What I've done here is I've just done a really basic, she's just hanging onto his arm, hugging onto his arm, looking at me.
Fix there. The hair looks good, at least from my perspective. I know everybody's their own like worst critic, you know, so.
And she just made a comment about fixing her hair and making sure her hair looks fine. And so I want to make sure that she's confident, and so I went to fix her hair.
That's awesome. Love those smiles.
I always start with them looking right at me. They're always looking at me first. This gets them warmed up in that pose. I just shifted to the right to make sure that the fence wasn't kind of coming out of their heads. And then I asked her to tickle him a little bit just to see if he get him to smile. Get them not thinking about the camera, thinking about themselves and each other a little bit more. After they look at me, I have them look at each other. I tell them exactly what to do during the entire session. They're always focusing on each other more than on me. I use noses together a lot.
Man, y'all are rock stars. Killing it already.
I always try to focus on the groom just a little bit during these sessions because most of the time the focus is on the bride. Like this, most of my shots actually turn out with the bride looking at camera rather than the groom. I don't know why. It's just easier to have the bride look at camera. The groom doesn't necessarily love having his photo taken either. So I just had her look down at that leaf. I gave her a specific object to look at. I always direct them to know exactly what to do. At least that's my goal. I never really want them to second guess or think about what is supposed to happen.
Be in the front, all right? Christine, you're gonna be about a step back. You're gonna hold hands, and John, you're gonna lead her down the stairs, okay? I'm gonna be over. I'm gonna be over there. John, what I want you to do is every once in a while,
so I'm having John lead Christine down the stairs. The way I do this is I have them hold hands as if they're just going to walk normally. And then I have the person in the front, whoever's leading, take a giant step forward.
You're going to look either, so here's the rules for looking. You're going to look forward or back at her. Christine, you're going to look at him or at me. Okay? I can cue you on when to do that if you'd like.
All right, so gave them the thumbs up. They're about to walk down the stairs. I thought they walked a little bit too heavy or too slow for this. This is just, this is me figuring out how they work a lot too. There's a good few images out of this collection here. I love that one right there. I had Christine look over at me just to vary up the position, the posing, just to get a little bit of variety. She's such a great smile. And at the bottom, I told them to look at each other.
Keep on coming, keep on coming.
So right now we're playing a game. I had John kind of interlock his hands with her fingers here, and I told him to just pick an everyday action like brushing your teeth, or this one is combing your hair, and she has to guess what action he is doing, and if she guesses it right, then he gets to attack her on the cheek with kisses. This is another just a really simple game to get them out of their own heads, to get them interacting with each other, to get them playing with each other and not focusing so much on the camera. We get real smiles this way, real interaction, and it's just a lot more fun to do this than to just always constantly, hey, come together nose to nose and just do the same thing over and over again. So I suggest definitely incorporate some games, incorporate some playing within your session.
Let's do this. John, can I have you stand right here for me facing me?
All right, I'm having John face me, and I'm going to take Christine back a couple feet behind John, and I'm going to give her, a prompt to do. John does not know what's going to happen. So what I told her here is to sneak up behind him and scare him in a loving way. Don't hit him over the head with anything. Don't like smack him in the face or anything like that. A lot of the times I say pinch the guy's butt. That's always a winning prompt. What she did was she did a little pinch, it looks like, and then she tried to knock his knees out here a little bit. So she got a little violent with it, but it got them laughing and smiling a bit. So again, just another prompt, another game to get them out of their own heads, to get them interacting with each other. That's always what I try to do in these sessions. I do a mix of posing and playing, something like that. That is such a real smile. So definitely pose and play. It makes it more fun for me, makes it more fun for the bride and the groom or the couple that you're working with.
He didn't even flinch. Like it's a
he
completely
knew
normal thing.
Tolerable.
You can see it just gets them laughing and having a lot of fun.
Christine, let me have you stand right here now, and I'm going to bring John back,
Oh, God.
and we will see what happens.
To make it fair, I always do a switch. I make both of them sneak up behind and scare. I told John if he's going to pick her up to actually pick her up differently than this, and it's okay. John probably misunderstood what I was saying. Totally fine. So I don't necessarily love the way that looked, but we got a cool smile out of that. And I didn't necessarily love the way it looked, so I had him put her down. And I just want them to walk towards the building now. So I've just transitioned them into something else that I think will look a lot more casual, more natural, and we'll get another genuine smile out of them.
Christine, look over at me. Cute guys, love it. Awesome.
Sitting poses are really difficult, especially when the bride is in a shorter cocktail dress like Christine's wearing. So what I'm telling her right now is to sit down, lean back against John, put her feet out in front of her rather than like bent and crossed.
Does that make sense? So right leg over the, yep, there we go, perfect. And I want you to, are we able to rest the forearm on John's leg? Perfect. Awesome. Cool.
It's just a process. You can see I'm going about this step by step. They look very natural, very comfortable, and it takes a little bit to get to that point. So be patient, be gentle in your wording with your couple. And I'm shifting now over to the right to have this fence in the foreground a little bit.
Christine, look down at his hand for me that's resting on his leg. Perfect. John, are you able to nuzzle in for me?
See, I'm varying it up within, it's the same pose. I'm just telling them to look different places, to lean in. I say nuzzle in, meaning bring your nose to her temple.
You guys are doing great. Yes, good smile.
And I'm constantly talking throughout these sessions. Always keep talking, always keep encouraging your couple.
All right. Whisper another weird thing in her ear. It can be any random word that you want or an inside joke.
Always keep the compliments going. I never ever really say no in these sessions. Most cases, I'll do 1 or 2 shots of whatever they request, and then I'll kind of transition them into something that I think will look a little bit better. So your couple should never know if they're doing something wrong, if they're doing something that you didn't ask them to do, a mistake. Just transition the mistake into something better. Classic shot. I just told them to, pose as if I was taking a photo on your iPhone, for Instagram. This is typically that pose that everybody does, right? For Instagram, for Facebook, whatever. Especially when you're engaged, you got the left hand up on the chest.
Beautiful. Awesome. Hey, we're going to do some walking here, all right? So let me have you both face me. Like, Christine, you're going to feet point towards me. John, I want your left arm to go over her shoulder, all right? I want that hand to now hold his hand here. All right, now you guys are really attached at the hip, okay? So you're going to look at each other, walk towards me again. That's pretty much the only rules for walking, okay?
This is another variation of the walking pose rather than just holding hands and walking towards me every single time. We switched it up, and they were walking pretty in sync, which is what happens when you're kind of, stuck at the hip like this. And they're great. I just tell them to look at each other, walk pretty slow, bring noses together. Sometimes I'll have them kiss while they walk. I'll make it a little bit more difficult for them.
John, look over at me while you walk. That's cute, guys. Love that. Switch. Christine, look at me here.
Just doing a lot of variety within a single pose. You can get a lot of different images just within one single spot.
If you feel like you get a better side, feel free to always switch, all right? All right, right there is perfect. Actually, you know what? It's not perfect. Can you guys come out that way, a little bit closer to the edge? Just don't kick John off.
The reason I shifted them down to the left was because I wanted them in the left third of this balcony. I didn't want to center them out, and I wanted them kind of to the left of that line in the building, too. You can see that vertical line.
Good job, guys. Okay, Christine, pop that leg for me again, all right?
Popping the leg just allows for a little bit more curve within the female figure. The reason I'm dropping now to a lower angle is because I didn't like the look of that white line going through their heads, and I wanted it going through their torsos more so.
Guys.
And now I got even lower to utilize the leading lines of the stairs. So always think about your composition. Always think about the lines within your image. I'm using the leading lines of the stairs to focus your eye in towards the couple, and they're kind of being framed within this, the pillar, the box they're standing on, and the line that is, above their heads in that last image.
Nice dip. Awesome. Let me bring you guys down here.
All right, you can see now we're in the sunset. We have some sun flare coming through the GoPro here, and I was getting some sun flare happening through my lens. I'm shooting on the 85mm. I forgot to say that at the beginning.
Look at each other now.
And I'm trying to avoid that sun flare.
Christine over at me here. Perfect, guys.
So what her hair was doing was it was being backlit by the sun, and the wind was coming from behind her, and it was blowing the hair out towards me, so it looked a little goofy. So what I'm doing now is I'm just shifting them to be chest to chest, so it's not blowing from behind her head, but it's blowing from the side.
There we go. All right, chest to chest for me. Bring them close. Pop that leg again for me, Christine. Beautiful, guys.
You can see there's a little bit of sun flare there.
Awesome.
I'm working through it right now, trying to find the spot where there's no sun flare. There's still sun flare there, and I move over a little bit further, and that's where I lose it. You can see the vibrancy difference.
Just a little closer here.
Something else I do is, like you just saw, I bring my hand to the top of my camera lens, and I try and block a little extra light from hitting my lens.
Guys. Christine, look over towards me now. Awesome. Yep, I've officially trained John. I didn't even say nuzzle in, but he did it anyway. That's perfect.
You heard what I just said. I've trained John to do exactly what I want to do without telling him, because I've done it so many times throughout the session already that he knew exactly what to do. This is why engagement sessions are super important for your couples, guys, because by the time the wedding day comes, these guys are going to be pros. They're going to know exactly what to do.
There we go. Perfect. And bump.
I had them bump hips because it just allows for a little bit more of an interaction. It's completely a surprise when I'm going to say it. I just have them walk towards me. I tell them to bump hips, and sometimes they laugh, sometimes they go really, really all in, and they really slam hips together. I don't want anybody getting hurt, but sometimes I think there's probably bruises after my sessions because they're bumping hips so much.
Go for it.
Lifts are really, really difficult when you're first starting out. I tell everybody to lift under the girl's butt and hoist her way up, and then for the girl to, or whoever is being lifted in the air, to always kick a leg up. If you don't, you kind of just look like a dead fish, just like hanging there. It just doesn't look good at all.
Awesome. I got two more coming. You got here real quick, my friend.
All right, we hopped in an Uber. We're now at Elves Alley in Philadelphia, the oldest residential alley in the nation. I'm just having her twirl her dress around, just add a little movement. You can see a little bit of an orange glow on them, and there's actually a car behind us with its headlights on. So that's what that extra light is coming from. I did a lot of editing trying to balance out the daylight and the tungsten from the headlights.
Okay. Keep looking at her, Christine. Yeah, right here. Perfect. I'm going to get the hands down here. Color combinations are good, I think, people. This is good. Perfect.
John and Christine brought some fake mistletoe with them. Cute little idea. I wasn't sure if this was actually going to turn out or not. Thankfully, it did. So I always say, instead of saying no to your couple, instead of like, hey, I don't necessarily want to do this, but always go with the flow. Always do what the couple wants to do. And if you find it doesn't look that great, take a few shots and then move on to something else. I thought this was a cute little idea, so we just kept going with it.
Awesome. One more. Big kiss right there. And hold. And last one. One more kiss, sorry. One more kiss.
And because it's mistletoe, they're kissing, obviously. Another lift, like I said, make sure the person being lifted is always kicking a leg. If the legs are hanging, it just looks like they're dead weight. It doesn't look that good. So make sure the leg is always being kicked.
Perfect. Just another second. And you're good. Ready, set, go ahead.
Here's another game. I have them lean back with their eyes closed. They're being each other's counterweights. And then with their eyes closed, they try and find each other's lips. This is really, really difficult to do, except these two were perfect. So I'm wondering, John and Christine, if you're listening, were any of you cheating? Were your eyes open? Because you guys did this perfectly twice in a row. It's really difficult. A lot of the times to get your couple laughing, you can see a little smile on Christine's face there. Again, a fun little game to play with them. Here's the dip. I had, instead of her leg being straight out like it originally was, I had her bend the knee a little bit, and it looks a little more romantic. Her green skirt looked great in this pose as well, really popped, and I love that she brought her hand to his face. She did that naturally. I didn't tell her to do that. So dip shots are kind of tricky to do as well. Just have them practice a few times before you go into it. Make sure you get it right.
Beautiful.
The biggest thing with this pose is it's pretty much just them holding hands looking away from me. I had them kind of angle their bodies in towards each other a little bit, and then I had Christine cross her legs. The crossing of the legs actually adds a lot of dynamic to the image.
Beautiful. John, nuzzle in for me a bit.
If you feel like something's off ever in your image, just have the bride just cross her legs over a little bit. It adds a little extra dynamic to your image, to the pose. And I had her look back at me, and then I had her look down at his shoulder, and John then whispered something weird in her ear.
Beautiful, guys. Share a kiss. Perfect. Noses one more time. And kiss on the forehead for me now.
You can see how fast I'm moving through these images, guys, and through these poses.
Oh, it's so pretty.
So guys, that's it. That was the entirety of our session. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you guys learned something here. It was fun to kind of bring you guys along on this. I'm going to be doing this more in the future. This is something that I think you can learn a lot from just watching other photographers pose and shoot. What can I do better for you guys next time? Do you want less of me voiceover narrating? And do you just want to watch me pose and listen to me pose within the video? Or do you like this narration? Do you like me kind of doing this voiceover work and telling you what I'm thinking and what I'm doing? Let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions about photography ever, please, I would love to know. You can drop them in the comments below, or you can email me at hello@josiahandsteph.com. Find me on Instagram at JosiahBlizzard. Lastly, please subscribe if you haven't already. It means the world to me. Like this video, share with a wedding photographer that you think would find this helpful, and I will see you guys next week.